Rosh, we talked about tactics, about how Nagoya are a fantastic side. You're the former pro, so I want to put you on the spot. Do JDT have what it takes in attack to break down such strong teams?
In attack, yeah. Look, I think they do, Gabe. I think they do. They've got the players in there. Bergson, as we've spoken about, he's having a fantastic season on the domestic front, and he'll be quality for them in those forward areas. Safawi, as I said earlier, a player who doesn't look out of place at all. Yep. Starting on their right-hand side, you can expect him to always drift into those central positions, get shots off at goal, and even against Nagoya side, who at this level, they might not necessarily sit back too much. But if they do, then that just sort of invites that space for Safawi to run into and, have shots from range. Because if he's not going to be closed down quickly, then he's got a lethal left foot and he can absolutely power those home from deeper positions. Then you've got, I like that creativity of Leandro Velasquez in those attacking midfield positions, very mobile in those areas and loves to get on the ball and dribble and take players on. So I certainly do think they have the quality in attack. I think they have the quality throughout the squad. You look at Mauricio and Lowry in those central defensive positions. I think they strengthened well there. They had to do the whole 3+1 thing for the AFC Champions League, and bringing in the Australian defender was a good move by JDT. So they have the required quality in those areas. Now it's just time to sort of step up and show, not just Asia, but remember, this is going out to lots of countries around the world. So you're essentially showing the world what you can do here at top-level Asian club football. So look, I'm really excited for the start of it.
I want to bring up a point which I think you will have something to say on it, because I know you mentioned that they come up against tough teams. Nagoya, a great team, don't get me wrong, Pohang too, but I feel, and you feel free to really contradict me here, but I feel they are in a situation where it's slightly more positive, because Pohang and the Pohang that got all that glory, in those years gone by. Nagoya as well. I'm sure you're going to touch on how good a side they are actually. But Nagoya and that dominant force like Kawasaki, which JDT could have gotten. That would have been a far more bleak group to be drawn in. So I don't know. I just think yes, they will be losing out a lot of home advantage for those 3 home games they would have played in Johor. But it's not the worst group. They could have gotten a much tougher draw.
Yeah, I think I've got to agree with you there. I think when the draw was first sort of made, when you looked at the teams that they were going to be up against, you'd have thought, there might be an opportunity here for JDT, just because of, again, we talk about the knowledge and the experience that they've gained over the last few seasons, the strength of the squad that they have overall. They've got a big squad as well, so they've got that strength to sort of deal with that condensed schedule, that they're going to experience, games every 3-4 days or so, where they are. So when you look at them overall, it seems like they're nice and prepared for this one. And there are also some really interesting ties. Tactically, I'm curious to see how they get on against these other teams. I mean, Nagoya Grampus in Japan, they are one of the strongest sides defensively. I think they finished with the best defensive record in J1 last year. This season, they've only conceded 13 goals from 20 J1 games, which is amazing. And they've got that real strong, solid defensive base there. And they're not a side who really want to go out and attack. Whereas JDT are a team that like to, impose themselves on opposition, at least on a domestic front. So whether that sort of, comes through on the continental stage against some of these bigger teams, it's going to be interesting for me to really sort of see. And then you got Pohang Steelers in there with a little bit of experience. Hin Jin Ho from Ulsan, who was a champion last year with Ulsan. He's in central midfield, dictating the tempo for them. Song Min Kyu, I know he's a player that you and I really like. Very exciting talent he is. He's another one that JDT are perhaps going to have to deal with. And then what's also going to be special for, I think, fans in Southeast Asia is you got a couple of Southeast Asian derbies here.
Always nice.
JDT up against Ratchaburi. So there's always going to be that rivalry, but big opportunity for JDT in this group, I think, Gabe.
And Rush, for me, that game, the games against Ratchaburi is going to be the test, not in terms of them actually progressing, but that's a team now making their debut where JDT were 2 years ago. So, I know on paper, they're both probably of an even footing, both similar quality. But when you talk about the experience, that's probably a game where we can look at how far JDT have come in terms of no longer being the hunter, but the hunted, in a smaller sense of context, because, the pressure will and should be on them to win that one just based on experience. So, I'm looking forward to that one as well. But Rush, I know both of us, we don't like to make too many predictions, because anything could happen. Even now on match day 1, who's to say what could happen that could lead to who qualifies? But I'm not going to ask you to make a prediction. But what would be a pass mark for JDT? That's the question I'm going to ask you.
See, the thing is, it's interesting as well with the format of the Champions League. We've seen only the the top teams from the 5 groups are really guaranteed
Yep.
a place in the next round. Then it's the 3 best runners-up, right? We saw big sides in the West Zone. We saw Al Saad get knocked out. Al Duhail get knocked out in the group stages. Al Ahly of Saudi Arabia get knocked out in the group stages as well. So we could be in for a few surprises here, you know, Gabe. Look, I think if JDT give themselves a chance with a runner-up finish, I think that would be absolutely incredible. If they somehow squeeze into the next stage, it would be a massive achievement for JDT. So, you know, look, I think it could be quite an interesting group, quite a tight group, because when I look at the level of the teams around there, you would traditionally say Nagoya because they play in J1 in Japan, and Pohang Steelers would probably be the outright favorites. But look, there's potential here for JDT to sort of bring a surprise, and even Ratchaburi perhaps, you know, if on their day, if they get a couple of good results in those Southeast Asian, those ASEAN derbies against JDT, they can put themselves in a good position. But if the focus is mainly on JDT, then look, if they can somehow squeeze into the round of 16, that would be absolutely incredible.